It's a orange juice.
What's up everyone, this is OJ. Today I'll quickly touch up on tornado tech. I'll probably make a more advanced video in the future. The Executioner is one of the strongest cards in the game right now. He counters most decks but has a weakness where his angle of attack is very narrow. This is where Tornado comes into play, an already overpowered card. Paired together with the Executioner makes an unstoppable combo. As some of you know, during my sneak peeks, I spend about one day to analyze the new cards, so I don't dig into the finer details of the tech combos that are possible. He throws his axe like a boomerang, striking all enemies on the way out and back. It's a miracle he doesn't lose an arm. Nowhere does it state that he stuns small and medium-sized units. This mechanic is really confusing and unlike Supercell. I have a feeling if this card gets nerfed, the stun will be the first to be removed. When using Tornado, you'll always be able to activate the King's Tower with a Miner, Giant, Golem, or a Hog. The Executioner is one of the most versatile cards in the game. He can practically stop most back-end troops while the Tornado forces the Miner to activate the King's Tower. If your opponent places a Golem in the back, rush the other lane with everything you have. The heavier your push, the more elixir your opponent has to spend to defend that push. I went in with everything I had, sitting at 0 elixir, with the Golem approaching because Tornado only costs 3 elixir. It's almost a cheaper, more effective Inferno Tower, at least for mitigating Golem damage on your front arena. After taking out all of his troops, I dealt just under 1400 damage to his tower, and the Golem barely dented my arena tower. The downside of using Tornado over an Inferno Tower is that you should never use it if you can't deal with their back-end support troops. It'll just end up destroying your tower and continue tanking the King's Tower, so you never want to counter push with everything until you have the back-end units taken care of. In this case, the Golem was approaching. I'm stretching my elixir very thin. That Mega Minion can potentially take out my tower with the Golem tanking, so I had to pull it with my Electro Wizard. I didn't have the elixir to pull the Golem immediately, but I was able to prevent most of the damage, all while destroying his right side tower. Against the Executioner, you need to spread out your units. My opponent spread out his Ice Wizard on the left and the Musketeer on the right, but Tornado clumps it all up, making up for that Executioner's weakness. After this huge positive elixir trade, there's no way my opponent can defend, and I end up taking the tower with the first push of the game. A quick refresher, the Executioner engages at 5 tiles, but his axe can reach up to 8 tiles far. You can check out my Executioner mechanic video if you haven't watched it yet. Knowing he can reach up to 8 tiles, facing another Executioner, you always want to angle your units away from your tower like any splash unit. You don't want to defend with units beside your arena tower. I used Tornado to pull all the back-end units about 7 tiles away, while the Giant remained within range. With my Executioner targeting the Giant, he's able to extend his reach and destroy all those units for a positive trade. It's very difficult to penetrate an Executioner Tornado defense. Here's another example where I completely shut down a Hog and Elite Barbarians with the combo. This works even more effectively at their tower. My opponent was aware of the Executioner and was mindful to plant the Prince on the right and the Executioner on the left, but that doesn't stop my Tornado. After clumping them all up, my Executioner was able to lock onto the Giant and angle his axe to clip the tower too. In this sense, you're taking advantage of his 8 tile reach by engaging at 5 tiles a bit earlier at the perfect angle. If you look closely, because the Executioner was lined up perfectly, all 4 of his attacks were able to hit the tower, dealing over 1000 damage and severely damaging his support tanks, all thanks to a precisely timed Tornado. Then, during the counter push, my Executioner saves the day again, splashing the entire push. This card is incredibly strong. With all that being said, Tornado is a very dangerous card to misplay. I used Tornado to pull the Miner and minions, but they still remained within range and destroyed my tower. I should have just pulled the minion horde backwards instead of sideways. Just like Prediction Fireballs, you can play Prediction Tornadoes to engage at 5 tiles and to take advantage of his 8 tile reach. I was keeping track of my opponent's cards and I knew he was going to divert my Executioner from the side, so I played a Prediction Tornado, aligning his Mega Minion, taking it out and damaging the tower. Ever since the update, the Tornado's pull strength really immobilizes units. I didn't pull the Lumberjack directly in front of the arena tower, because he would start hitting my Miner instead. So I lined him up perfectly in between the tower, letting my Executioner take him out and clip the tower twice. Let's jump into a few gameplays. Huge shout out to Colton for inventing this deck. Check out his YouTube channel in the description. I replaced arrows with miner because the zap aid is kind of dying out and executioner can take care of most swarms. I've seen players use this exact base with Prince over Electro Wizard or Ice Spirit, and Elixir Pump instead of a miner. Starting off, my opponent pumped up, so my goal right now is to cycle to my miner. With the executioner and Mega Minion in the front, there's no way my opponent can defend both, forcing him to pick one. With my executioner lingering with a sliver of health, it doesn't matter because my miner is tanking the tower, so he picked the correct defense by taking out my executioner. The downside with this deck is that there are a lot of spells, so sometimes you have to do a fast Electro Wizard push in the back, or cycle with the log. But I just made a positive trade, so I'm going in with my Electro Wizard. Lightning took out his Musketeer, where the real damage was coming from, and eliminated the Tombstone a bit earlier, forcing him to use the log. I'm just waiting for my Giant to approach my tower so it can activate it with a Tornado. I was a bit slow on the Tornado, otherwise the Giant wouldn't have punched my tower more than once. Meanwhile, my Electro Wizard struck his tower once. In these matchups when you're competing for 12 wins, there's a lot of back and forth and equal exchanges. He pumps up, so that's my largest threat right now. I need to take out the pump, but Lightning is out of rotation, so I used my miner, adding a Mega Minion to make the push threatening to draw out his push earlier. This is perfect because I can safely take them out both for a positive trade on my side, then translate into a counterattack with a Giant in the front. I was a bit hesitant on the Lightning, otherwise my Giant would have gotten a few more punches off. He counterattacks with the Giant, but this is no big deal because my King's Tower is activated, so I can use Tornado to the center to bring it within range of the towers. I missed the Mega Minion, so this forces me to play an Electro Wizard to pull it away from the tower. With the Musketeer at full health, I tried to plant my miner in front, but I misplayed that and she does not retarget onto my miner, suffering quite a bit of damage on my tower. He played his Tombstone a bit too far in front, so not enough skeletons spawned to distract my miner. Knowing his Tombstone is out of rotation, I'm going in with an aggressive Giant push, because I know this will force him to play his Musketeer and Mega Minion. He played the log to prevent that single punch. After forcing out his Mega Minion and Musketeer, he has to play an Executioner to stop mine. I can log it to death and clip the tower as a bonus. A bit too eager about my positive elixir trade, I misclicked the miner when I actually wanted to send him to the tower. Plays a Giant instead of addressing my miner, so he gets quite a bit of chip damage off of the tower. At this point, I have my Executioner and I'm just waiting for him to play his Musketeer before I cast Tornado. This pulls her out of range while keeping the Giant within range for my Executioner to clip her away. I used Lightning on the Musketeer instead of the Tombstone because I would have clipped the Elixir Pump instead. At this point, I know the time is near, so I'm trying to end it fast. Miner sent in to deal some more chip damage, but he counters with Mega Minion, and my log is not quite enough to finish off the tower. This is big trouble because I committed everything on the last push. I held onto my Tornado because I was waiting for a Musketeer aimed at my Executioner, but he played Lightning instead, so that caught me off guard. And the Giant ends up getting one hit off the tower because my Tornado was slow. And that is good game, incredibly close match. Let's check out what I could have done better. Here I was confident my Electro Wizard would have taken care of everything, but the Lightning caught me off guard. The log would have been a perfect defense with the Electro Wizard, but a miner would have been even more reliable in preventing 1,000 damage in my tower. I lose most often against P.E.K.K.A. or Prince with this deck. The miner, Executioner, and Electro Wizard are critical to take out these large pushes. Starting off, he banks his Elixir with a Tombstone. He plays an aggressive P.E.K.K.A. in front to absorb my Executioner and Mega Minion. With all of my units clumped up, he plays an Executioner, which is perfect because I have a Tornado, pulling the P.E.K.K.A. away from all of the units and immobilizing his Executioner out of range, while my Executioner hits his P.E.K.K.A. splashing his. The Ice Golem takes out my Electro Wizard, but I send in a miner anyways to tank for my Executioner. His Dark Goblin does work, stopping my miner and preventing an axe being thrown at his tower. Mega Minion one-hits Dark Goblin, so there's no point for waiting it to cross the bridge. At this point, we're both building Elixir, so I'm still a bit cautious because I haven't seen his last two cards, which are Lightning and Prince. Playing cautiously, I planted my Giant in the back while he banked his Elixir. Tombstone is kind of like an Elixir Pump where you can store passive Elixir on the map. He plants his P.E.K.K.A. at the bridge, so here we go again with the bridge battles. This time, I have a Giant in front. Same as the last battle, I'm able to Tornado the P.E.K.K.A. away from everything, including my Giant, while my Executioner targets the P.E.K.K.A., splashing onto his Executioner. The log cleans up the map, clearing everything for my Electro Wizard to focus fire on the single P.E.K.K.A. He played the Dark Goblin at the wrong angle, hoping to take out my Wizard so the P.E.K.K.A. can slash my Executioner. This is the value of the miner. After taking out my Giant, I still have a primary tank to support the Executioner or Electro Wiz. With this high cost deck, he doesn't have many answers to this, and my Executioner's combo deals over 1000 damage to his tower. With the Prince's really fast charge speed and the Mega Minion's really slow DPS, I pulled with my Executioner, and with that extra firepower, the Prince dies before even touching anything. Again at the bridge battle with his P.E.K.K.A, the same outcome will ensure, but this time he uses Lightning to take out my Electro Wizard. Knowing he's going for a really big push, I lightninged everything before he could build it. I was right, he planted the Prince the same time I played my Lightning. With everything out of the way, my Miner can tank the Prince. He played a P.E.K.K.A in the front, so I played an Executioner, using Tornado to angle his axe onto the tower. This brought it just low enough so that I could finish it off with a Lightning. Looking back, I should not have played everything so close. If he had a Fireball, that would have been a game-ending push right off at the beginning. A lot of the higher level gameplays are boring back and forth chipping each other, making even trades and burning each other out over 4 to 6 minutes. But if you're interested, here's a replay. My opponent is running a very reliable burner deck that must be played flawlessly. Hopefully the tutorial at the beginning of the video outlined how to use the Executioner Tornado combo in not only my deck, but in many other decks. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more quality OJ.